MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, India. MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, India brings together the world's top tech women influencers leading the exponential technology domain and rising awareness on trending hot topics such as blockchain technology, data science, AI and ML, cybersecurity, cloud computing, metaverse, fintech, robotics, digital transformation and many more.
Join the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology from 5th to 8th March 2022. Proudly organized by MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence India. Visit mitfuturesskills.org/WFET or call on 7066995599. Transform yourself into a winning professional.
A very good morning to one and all present here. This is Suruchi Bhatt and I'll be the host for the session. On behalf of MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, it is my pleasure to welcome all the esteemed guests and enthusiastic participants from all parts of the globe. This is the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers and Exponential Technology, an initiative to listen to global stalwarts whose guidance will help us leap towards success in the dynamic digital world of today. At the outset, let me welcome our lovely keynote speaker, Ms. Vandana Verma, Chair at OWASP and Founder at InfosecGirls. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
MIT Art, Design and Technology believes in starting every journey of knowledge by seeking blessings from Goddess Saraswati. May I request you all to please join the hands for Saraswati Vandana. Thank you. MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, under the guidance of MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, is proud to bring on one platform, women who are world motivators in technology. The second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology is an attempt to salute women who influence and motivate, create awareness on the power of emerging technologies and career growth. To know more about the initiative, I am pleased to introduce you to Dr. and Professor Suraj Bhoyar, Project Director, MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence. Professor Bhoyar is a passionate digital evangelist at MIT ADT University, a postgraduate in mechanical engineering, patents law, and in educational administration. He is keen to develop an ecosystem for nurturing skill development as well as employability. His dynamic role in giving future skills training for career aspirants make him confident to build an enterprising and innovative India. He dreams to reshape the lives of students and working professionals via excellence in future exponential technologies, which will have a strong technological impact in tomorrow's economy. With an exponential learning curve and amazing networking skills, his dream is to lead the Ministry of Higher and Technical Education for better industry-institute interaction ecosystem development. May I request Sir to address the participants?
Thank you so much, Suruchi, for a lovely introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the third day of the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology, proudly organized by MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune. This is an immensely exciting morning for MIT ADT University, and the active participation from across the globe, from various parts of the countries, affirms the relevance and meaningfulness of this International Women's Day celebration. With this, let me first acknowledge the presence of our eminent guest today. It is our indeed pleasure to have amongst us chief guest of today's keynote session, Ms. Vandana Verma, Chair at OWASP and Founder InfosecGirls. Welcome, ma'am. I also take immense pleasure to welcome Honorable Executive President and Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT University, Professor Dr. Mangesh Karat, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. Your presence is indeed a great source of inspiration to every one of us. I would also like to welcome Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Anant Chakradev, sir, Professor Dr. Sunita Karat, ma'am, Dean Management and Director ICT. I also extend my welcome to Dr. Ramakant Kaple, Director IQAC. I am glad to also welcome Dr. Mahesh Chopre, Registrar of MIT ADT University. We are also delighted to welcome all the deans, directors, principals, HOIs, HODs, faculty members, all the organizing team members from MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence. Thank you so much for joining us today. My dear friends, higher education institutions often struggle or thrive, in fact, to respond to these changes in socio-economic aspects. And the ideas of what higher education should accomplish can depend on what the world demands of an educated, skilled workforce. At MIT Art, Design and Technology University, we have been mapping our resources best to adopt strategic approaches to emerging technologies and best organizational practices. From last 2 years almost, we have been successfully delivering our sessions online. We are interacting with students. We are promoting awareness in emerging tech domain through various platforms, through various initiatives that has been taking place at MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence. And this MIT Fuse has been established to create a strong community of smart and employable technology enthusiasts who's having super specialized expertise in AI and ML, cloud computing, cyber security, blockchain, Internet of Things, robotic process automation, enterprise resource planning, digital marketing, etc. Having solid levels of expertise in technologies with regard, these are very much required for today's career growth, right? And to be more versatile and ready for the future changes, it's essential to build on your IT skills. And we are very much determined to assist you in this endeavor, right? So through this summit, MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence brings together the world's top tech women leaders and influencers in exponential technology domain, who helps us to raising the awareness of trending hot topics. The summit, being international, is a synergy of information, knowledge, and wisdom with the aim of equipping stakeholders with required skills and knowledge. And following the resounding success of the first International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers last year, this second edition would definitely provide more engaging platform and forum for our students, research scholars, faculty members, career aspirants, startup enthusiasts, working professionals, so that they could learn to address the issues and create solutions for better mankind in learning and skill space. Leading experts would definitely have been interacting with all of you about cutting edge technologies, and both theoretical and applied aspects will be covered. My dear friends, coming to this session on cloud security architecture, along with a 0% employment rate in cybersecurity, the growing demand for security professionals prompts the industry's expanding nature. Please recall the cyber attacks like Air India, Domino's, Big Basket, and MobiKwik that have been seen data breaches recently. And because of the war between Ukraine and Russia, you might have seen the trending keywords across the social media: tech for good, tech for Ukraine, health, right? Now, even hackers have been hacking the Russian system. So cyber security vulnerability within the Indian ecotech system is growing wider and more apparent by the day. My friends, everyone is getting hacked. Brands are getting hacked. Media organizations are getting hacked. Tech companies are getting hacked. Dating websites are getting hacked. Small companies are getting hacked. Critical infrastructure is getting hacked. Even national political parties are getting hacked. You might have seen the phone tapping and other. Elections are getting hacked. It's no wonder online security breaches are becoming so prolific that digital is pervading every corner of our lives. And today we live in society 5.0, right? Yet most people are terrible about the security. India has seen numerous instances of organizations becoming a victim of data breach incident in recent times. Because today our day starts with cloud connected IoT devices, right? So emphasizing that human beings are the weakest links in the cyber ecosystem, let's understand to this keynote session. And it is obviously becomes essential for every one of us to understand and regularly create an awareness in order to protect our personal data from being exposed in data breach incidents. It's not all about the big companies and organizations that get hit. Average, everyday consumers experience phishing schemes, ransomware attacks, identity theft, data breaches, financial losses. So for instance, it just takes 5 minutes to hack an internet connected device, which includes your smartphone, smartwatch, onboard automobile, computer, smart television, and home control systems, right? And these concerns have given birth to an unmissable golden opportunity for you to work significant leadership roles. So with India's highly skilled IT workforce, efforts must be harnessed and redirected towards the strategic use of this technology by the government. And already the policies has been very much structured and finalized by Niti Aayog, Government of India, so that with the strengthened cyber security defense in India's future, Indian businesses will become more competitive at a global level, right? So through today's interaction, Ms. Vandana ma'am will help us to understand about cloud security architecture and how cyber security is a survival mantra for all emerging technology domains. It may be AI, it may be machine learning, it may be cloud, it may be IoT, it may be blockchain even, right? And also, my dear friends, try to learn and explore about how budding cyber enthusiasts and social engineers at the forum like OWASP, because she's the chair and she's the only Indian, first Indian to chair the global board of directors at OWASP Foundation, and how InfosecGirls are helping to shape the direction of cyber awareness initiative across the globe. So the keynote cannot be better than this. And definitely we are looking forward to have deliberations on the cutting edge cloud computing. So on behalf of the organizing team, MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, I do believe and hope this International Virtual Summit 2022 fulfills your expectation and sets a new milestone in taking your careers to the greater heights. So thank you so much once again for joining us today. Over to you, Suruchi.
Thank you so much, sir. As organizations all over the world expand the use of cloud services, security remains the top priority for program managers, policymakers, and cloud service providers. Entities are migrating workloads to the cloud with varying degrees of sensitivity. Let us gain insights upon how enterprises secure and view data and collaborate applications in the cloud through the lens of shared responsibility with cloud providers. To guide us, we're honored to have Ms. Vandana Verma, Chair at Open Web Application Security Project and founder to InfosecGirls. May I request the AV on Ms. Verma, please?
Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Ms. Vandana Verma is a security solutions architect at SNCC. She is the chair of the OWASP Global Board of Directors and leads diversity initiatives like InfosecGirls and WooSec. She is also the founder of InfoSec Kids and has experience ranging from application security to infrastructure and now dealing with product security. She has been a keynote speaker and trainer at various public events, including the Global OWASP AppSec, Black Hat to regional events like B-Sides in India. She's a member of the Black Hat Asia Review Board as well as multiple other conferences including the Grace Hopper India, OWASP AppSec, USFA to name a few. Ms. Vandana Verma has been the recipient of multiple prestigious awards like that of Cybersecurity Woman of the Year Award 2020 by CyberSec Awards, Application Security Influencer 2020 by White Source, Global Cybersecurity Influencer among IFSEC Global Top Influencer in Security and Fire category for 2019, and Cybersecurity Woman of the Year Award by Women Cyber Justice Society in the category Secure Coder. She has been listed as one of the top women leaders in the field of technology and cybersecurity in India by InstaSafe. She has trained over 10,000 diverse candidates in cybersecurity. Team MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence at MIT ADT University, Pune is honored to have Ms. Vandana Verma as a guide and mentor and has joined us today for the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us today. Now session is all yours.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm honored. Especially, I'm always fascinated by the way you create intros. It's amazing.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm just sharing my screen.
Yes.
I hope you can see my screen.
Yes. Can't see the presentation.
Yes, thank you, sir. Okay, so I will not go into my bio. I'll just get into the presentation. Today, we will be talking about cloud basics. What is cloud? Because a lot of people still have a lot of doubts in what is cloud, how exactly it is handled, and what are the things that we need to take care of. What are the myths we all have? Like I had so many myths before joining cloud or before understanding what cloud is. Then what are the steps to make sure that we have a secure cloud? So I'll try and showcase some of the things to you. Before that, let's get the basics right. When we talk about cloud, there are so many breaches that we have seen in the past. So we are really scared of using cloud. At least a few people I know that they're very, very scared and saying, oh, we want to use cloud. Because sometimes when we don't know how to use cloud, there are problems. Because the first interface that we see is a URL, and then you use your credentials there. So there is a research by Gartner which says that by 2022, there'll be a lot of data on cloud. But if we see the past 2 years, the trend has changed, especially with banks, with any organization who never thought that they would move to cloud, but they had to move to cloud. Teachers who never thought they will be giving virtual sessions like this, like 2 years, especially everything online. But that is happening. We've been part of those things. We've seen that the breaches have increased. There are things around securing the environments that have changed. How that has happened. From 2018 to now, or 2019 till now, the companies who said, oh, we will take time in moving to cloud. We want to be secure in-house. But suddenly everything shut down. They wanted to make sure that things keep on running. Banks, they said the operations need to run. Colleges, everything needs to run. Startups, things need to run. What to do? So cloud became like a God's gift to us, where we started working towards these environments and we started flourishing. But at the same time, we started to leave small traces, and we started to unintentionally neglect cybersecurity. Now, while we talk about that, I'm sure there are some students who've never heard about cloud security, or they're very new to cloud. So there are multiple vendors in the market. Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, that's also called GCP. Then we have Amazon Web Services, that's very well known as AWS. Then IBM Cloud to Alibaba to Red Hat to many other cloud platforms which are there. Now, what exactly is cloud? People say that it's someone else's computer. It is also right. Then there are some people say that we are hosting services on some other vendor. Absolutely, that's also right. For example, if I pick up AWS or Amazon Web Service, what they're trying to do is they are actually hosting our data based on different services that we take from. And there are multiple attributes which are there, where we have shared resources with people, we have scalability. Let's say we want to have multiple servers at one go, or we want to set up a lab in the cloud. We can just go ahead. If we want to take exams, we can do that. We can only pay as we use. That's amazing. Now, adopting cloud also means that we have an unknown territory, as mentioned. So there are database breaches which are not new. For example, if we are hosting data on the cloud, we have an account, but we are using a very insecure password. Would it be secure? No. So that's how the first territory starts off. We need to understand what we are going up to. Cloud is not insecure. It is we who has to make sure that we own the responsibility. And it always talks about responsibility models, whether it's being owned by us or by the cloud providers. I'll be talking about that in the upcoming slides as well. And when we talk about applications, they're not always cloud ready. We need to understand what are the things which are supported in the cloud, what are the things which are not supported in the cloud. And if we are using something else, how we can bridge it securely. Then comes what type of models are there. There's a private cloud, community cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. Now, what is all that? Public cloud is something which anyone can use, like literally you and I can use it. Anyone can create an account, and there are resources which are shared, not the data, only the resources. For example, there is a building and we are staying on different floors, but we are sharing the same building. Then we have private cloud, where there are separate buildings for everyone, especially the private cloud I've seen with banks, with federal governments, or the government agencies that they use private clouds. Then there's hybrid cloud, where we are using multiple clouds and bridging it. Could be AWS, could be GCP, could be Microsoft Azure, or at the same time, we're trying to bridge on-prem services, like the services which are in-house, which are in college, or which are in office, to the cloud things. I'll tell you something interesting. Earlier, we were in the four walls, right? Then during the four walls, we were like, everything inside those four walls is a good person, is a student. But over the period of time, that has changed. Now, we are not sitting in four walls. Like, I'm working from home from past 2.5 years. That's a very, very long time. I never thought that I'll be working that much long from house. I like working from home, but now over the period, I realized that it's important to go to office as well. Now, during that time, there are services which are running from office, which are running from the cloud environment. So that's basically hybrid. And then community, especially built for colleges, supporting initiatives which are open source. Why cloud is being preferred, or why people are moving towards cloud? Because we can use it anytime. There are on-demand services that we need, especially if there's a huge amount of load. We can use it any given point of time. Then we can expand it, like add tons and tons of things to it. We can connect it with other resources as well. And it provides us broad network access. How? Right now I'm sitting in India, but I can access a zone in US as well, Canada, Hong Kong, and many other locations. So it gives us the expansion. And especially a lot of countries have their own privacy laws. So it supports that as well. Now, there are cloud services models as well. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. To go deep into it, see this. When we talk about on-premise services like hosting everything in the building, hosting everything in the college. So applications will be managed by us. All the machines will be managed by us. Storage, if something goes down. think of you're going to a lab, but then the system is full. Who will be managing it? College. And suddenly you'll have to remove some data or add some storage to it. Then comes environments wherein infrastructure as a service, where we are taking someone else's data, someone else's infrastructure, and we are hosting our data there. Now, what happens there? There comes responsibility, wherein what we will be managing. So your app will be managed by us. App is application. Virtual machines will be managed by us, or the servers. Now, server, storage, network, all of these things will be managed by the backend. But remember one thing, who will update the VM or virtual machines? It will be us. Similarly, platform as a service. We'll be managing some apps, services, but then server, storage, network will be completely by the provider. Now you must be thinking, it's somewhat going above my head. And that used to happen with me. But then came Pizza. So I totally like Pizza, and I try and understand in a way where Pizza works. So in traditional environment, we will be kneading the dough. We'll be making the base. We'll be buying the toppings and making our own pizza. So it'll be homemade, we'll be doing that. But when it comes to the kitchen, where we are taking someone else's kitchen, like I used to stay in a PG where they gave us kitchen as well. Now, what happened then? The kitchen was provided by that, but then we have to get other things. Only the gas was given to us. Similarly, when we talk about platform, what happens? We get the drink, we get the soft drinks and everything, but pizza is being prepared by someone else, right? Fire, oven, everything is someone else's. Now, software as a service, that you don't have to get anything except your ID, that yes, I'm ready to eat pizza, and everything is being prepared by someone else. So that's how pizza as a service works. And it is very easy to understand that who owns what. I have heard organizations saying, oh, now we are moving to cloud, we don't have to take care of security, we'll be relying on the cloud provider. No. Now, while we use different services, especially for students who says that we want to be a developer, now you're writing code. Who would be owning the code? You would be. If something happens to the code, it's not just the organization, it's you who will also be held accountable. So understand from that perspective. And cloud is something which will let you experiment also. You can host things, you can host a website, you can host servers, you can understand how organizations work, how they host the data. Now, as mentioned, SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, there are many things. So especially if I talk about SaaS, Gmail service, Facebook.com, everything is SaaS because you don't have to do anything, you're just using the service. PaaS, when you start using certain platforms like WordPress. Then infrastructure as a service, where you take infrastructure of someone and start using, like AWS or Azure. Now, this is a classic model which I took from Amazon because I wanted to showcase at least one model where how exactly the responsibility lies. So here, if you see the customer manages their own data. If I'm using cloud services, that doesn't mean that, oh, everything is being managed by the cloud provider. No, if a breach happens, who will be held accountable? Your data, my data, I'll be taking care of it. If someone accesses my emails, will I be blaming Gmail or I'll be blaming myself for it? I'll be blaming myself that I did not keep my data secure. Understand what softwares, what data will be hosted where. And the first and the foremost thing is understand what I'll be hosting, whether it's feasible or not. It is very, very important. And what are we protecting? Identify your assets, your data. Assets are nothing but servers, applications, network, how that will be set up. Cloud environments also have a connection between two servers. So how we will be managing it? There are firewalls. which are there in the cloud. We have to manage that. We have to document the business risks. We have to assess the risk properly, understand what needs to be fixed first, and disaster recovery plan, business continuity plan, that if something happens, how we will make sure that business keep on running. If something happens, how we will recover from that quickly. That's disaster. And it's very, very important to manage those disaster management or requirements. Now, NIST framework is a beautiful framework which provides details on how do you identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover from the things. Now, how do you do that? First, understand what we need to manage. Then, once you know what we need to manage, then only you can protect it. And if an event happens, you can detect it early and respond to that. Because if you don't respond to it, how will you recover from that? And there are certain myths about cloud. That cloud is inherently less secure. No, it is not. Cloud provider has done their homework and they are providing you an environment which you need based on the services like infrastructure as a service, cloud as a service, platform as a service, even function as a service. Now, what is function as a service? There's a certain function which it will do, and then the access will be removed. Why there are more breaches? Because sometimes we don't understand what is our responsibility, till what extent we need to provide security. And we always assume that it's only cloud provider's responsibility. But remember, data is our responsibility. Data is like oil. If it's spilled, it is spilled. And data is the new oil. We have to understand. Or at the same time, we have less control in the cloud. So understand what all controls can be placed. There are many tenants which are there in the environment. Many tenants as in, there are multiple accounts that we hold. So how do you manage all of it? I'll tell you a story wherein when I started off in the cloud, the client that I was working for, they had multiple accounts in the cloud. And all accounts were being taken care by multiple people. Now, if one person leaves, how it's going to be managed? So that was a big problem. So we had to make sure that we take all of those accounts in one umbrella and change the passwords to a secure one. They were using 8-digit password. How insecure that would be. And think of passwords as like your toothbrush, your personal hygiene. When you don't share your toothbrush with anyone, why do you share passwords? People keep on sharing their passwords. I don't share my password with anyone. And 100% cloud is the only way is maybe a thing or may not be. That's why people talk about hybrid. Hybrid is something where you have mix of it. Like that's a myth that it doesn't work well, but it works really well if we understand the requirements. And when we talk about developers, ops, IT, now it's not a myth anymore that it's new, relatively new. Now people want to adopt to cloud by understanding what it is in there. And there are security heads, people like us. The cloud security is hard to achieve. No, it is not at all hard to achieve. Data security, data and compliance, it is not difficult to achieve in the cloud if we understand that what exactly it is there. Now, all of this is fine, but logging and monitoring is one important step that we need to attain, which is easy because there are services which are provided by the cloud provider. We can start from there. There are so many cloud security realities. Now, let me go ahead and show you something which is very, very important. Let me show you here. So this is my Azure environment. Now, I wanted to set up a cloud environment using Azure. So here, there is one dummy account that I have created, Matthias, and this organization, if I click on it, can run multiple aspects, like from a security point of view. But before that, can I secure the overall account? Absolutely. What I can do is I can go to organization settings. I can actually secure the whole organization. I can manage the projects which are there. I can manage the users. So there are multiple users. Let's say in the college, we have Dean Sir, we have Vice Chancellor, we have Chancellor Sir, we have all of the people. But now all of the people who are mentioned here, they have some account. And I have not given the right access to everyone. So to the Vice Chancellor Sir, I have not given them admin access. Instead, I have just given a user access or a basic access. But I have given Suruchi the admin access. How strange that would be. So managing the users and their rights is equally important, the access levels in the cloud. And even it's not just the cloud, this access or role management has been there for a very, very long time, and we don't use it right. Now comes policies. It is important to have the right policies. What kind of users, what kind of policies would be applicable to users, and what processes will be followed. And while we follow those processes, we can define how frequently those accesses would be managed. Accounts would be audited. Now, under settings, there are many options which are there. Now, these are some basic things I'm trying to say. Some people might already know about it, but there are some people on the call, they might not know. So I wanted to just give a brief overview about the cloud and to get started you through that these are the things that exist. So you can set up your account in Azure, you can set up your account in Google Cloud platforms, you can set up your account at AWS, any of it. And there are requirements which are there. For example, let me show you AWS security requirements, reference architecture or requirements. So all the details are there. There are wonderfully written notes which are there. For example, for articles, for architecture, understand the basics first. IAM, identity and access management, how do you do that? And then under reference architecture, how exactly you can set up the architecture, how you can set up the different accounts there, how you can connect those accounts. So all of these can be managed very seamlessly. Now, let me come back to my presentation. There are these realities where we can scale it. We can have multiple cloud environments. We can bridge those things. So remember one thing, while you deal with these realities, don't forget to take care of these reference architectures, documentations. See this security foundation, which talks about each and everything in detail. How exactly identity would be managed. How will you log it? Now, you must be thinking that, are there any more documentation? If you talk about it, everything, like what are the services which are being provided? All of these details, like for especially security, there's an artifactory. There is detective services which can detect if there's an attack. Then there's cloud directory where you can manage the accounts. Then there's a web application firewall. Single sign-on can be managed via social accounts like Gmail, or specifically account services like cloud accounts of your own college or your offices. I'm sure that college must have given you some account, so you can manage the different accounts using those things. Like Surat sir is an admin or a manager, and Vice Chancellor sir is an admin, Chancellor sir is an admin. So how will you break it down like a tree? It's like a tree structure. Now, this is about AWS. Is your security center. Now, Azure Security, not Security Center, but Azure Security. Now, if you come here, there are multiple people who have shared the details. Similarly, Azure as well has a beautiful documentation which talks about it. How you can manage, what are the free services which are there. And then Google Cloud Platform, which is there. Now, GCP also has a good documentation. Now, I'm sure, now, while I talk about this security documentation, how do you get started? Just get started for free. As you use the service, you will be paying for it. But if you are new, go ahead and start experiencing it. But make sure to remove the services once you're done. There are organizations who create the accounts or the servers, but then they forget about it. And then what happens? Breach. Their data gets lost. So it is very, very important. Make sure to check these resources which are there for different organizations. And you can reach me anytime on my Twitter handle, which is InfosecVandana, on my LinkedIn, and I'll be very happy to talk about anything cloud. Thank you so much. This was short and crisp, but yes, I want to make sure that if you have any question, do feel free to ask. And college is one place where you learn, you build yourself. So always have an inquisitive mind where you ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you would never, ever learn anything new. In my journey, I've always been a person who asks questions. If I don't know anything, I'll ask Pete any question. And there's no dumb question. Just keep that in mind. And that's how you grow.
Can I show you?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was fantastic keynote with hands-on, and we really got the great insights. Now, moving towards question and answer, let me ask you first question, which has just popped up. So you mentioned about AWS, GCP, Azure, even we talk about Alibaba or maybe IBM, Bluemix. All these cloud platforms have similar components of security, or there is some difference?
So the pattern remains the same, but when we talk about different services, the name changes. So understand the services, especially for databases, there might be name changes. So understand that how exactly we can put the security, the concept remains the same. When we talk about firewalls, there could be some name around it, naming convention around it, service name around it, but then understand how exactly the concept can be applied to it. So concept remains the same, it's just the name changes.
All right. Okay, got it. Thank you. So can you just throw some light about your journey? How did you get started in this cybersecurity space and what keeps you motivated?
Now, cybersecurity is one area which is very much challenging, but at the same time, it is one area which keeps you engaged. There are so many people around who keep sharing the knowledge. So it's one community which keeps you awake all the time. There are new vulnerabilities, there are new security flaws that keep coming up. And one good part for students is it is one area where you don't have to think that it is separate. If you want to be a developer, add security to it. Now you are a security person because you understand security. You want to move to IoT, add security flavor to it, because anything and everything needs to be secure. We've been hearing about a lot of breaches lately. We've been hearing about a lot of malware, ransomware attacks, what it needs to secure environment so that we don't do anything which is not right. I'll tell you, long back when I got my first laptop, I was in cybersecurity and I wanted to understand about adwares, viruses. So the funny thing I did is infected my own system. And it took me 2 days to remove everything. And those adwares, they were like, do you want to reduce weight? Or do you want to join this? That was crazy. But so I realized that not to do anything on my system, not to click on any of those links, only do all sorts of activities in the virtual environments. So I set up VirtualBox and then hosted certain VMs, and I still do that. I still replicate any new bug in a virtual environment so that I understand. And then I was introduced to the communities via one of the mediums, and I got to know about Null, which is a very huge community in India, Null, and then OWASP. And I was knowing that OWASP is only a testing guide or a top 10. Then got introduced to the community. OWASP became a chapter leader for OWASP Bangalore, got involved with the wider activities, got to run for OWASP board. So I filed my nomination, became a treasurer, managed the expenses and money for OWASP, where I never knew how to. Give me a wider exposure that how to run an organization. Then became a vice chair last year. And this year when I ran for OWASP board again, I became the first Indian chair. And it's not just that. It gave me an immense pleasure to say that I became first women to be a chair for OWASP. And I proudly say that there's nothing wrong in that, because I have mentors who are men who are my supporter, who are from other genders, who are supporting me in this journey. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. If I have mentors who guided me, who just showed me the light, and I just walked past the tunnel to make sure that yes, I can achieve anything. Even impossible has, I am possible. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's my journey to cybersecurity.
Inspiring indeed, ma'am. Inspiring. Many congratulations for being elected as first chair for OWASP Global Directors. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Since we do have participants from startup world as well as across the globe, I would like to ask you another question. Can you suggest, or can you just provide a names that they could start with the open source cloud computing platforms which they can get started, and they could get a first-hand experience how they could use it effectively for their business endeavors?
Oh, sure. I think you can set up your account in AWS, you can set up your account in Azure, even GCP. All of them are free. They might ask you to put in credit card for the first time if you use services beyond the free tier. But in the free tier itself, there are many services which are there, which we can use. So probably it is the best way to start off. Even if you Google about, if you research about AWS free services or Azure free services or GCP free services, you'll get to know that these are the free services and you can leverage it. And when I started experience AWS, I tested multiple aspects, and the charge was very nominal because I was not running very heavy loads. And as a student, if you want to understand, we'll be running like lighter loads and then delete everything once we are done. So there won't be much charge. Like my first service costed me like 10 rupees. That's all.
Great.
So it's very minimal charges, depends on how we use it.
Great. So buzz about cloud computing, like we have been meeting through Zoom. We, from last 2 years, we have been conducting online classes. Even we could watch uninterrupted Netflix or even Amazon Prime or Hotstar. It's all because of the cloud computing, the power of cloud, right? So I would like to frame this question from one of the participants, like how to find balance between cloud is very much important for every emerging technology. You talk about blockchain, you talk about IoT, you talk about machine learning, you talk about even cyber security, right? So what is your take on that? Why cloud computing is become a central technology for all these other emerging technologies?
Okay, now while we talk about that emerging technologies, we need to remember one thing, that even the apps that we use on our phones are on cloud. Now, instead of thinking about like what is coming up, we need to understand what we have and how we can mature it. And at the same time, support the newer technologies. For example, we are talking about IoT, we are talking about OT, we are talking about using the new waves like Android TVs at home. We have smart geysers at home. We have smart washing machines and dishwashers at home. How we can secure it. So it always starts from home. Maybe it's just that I always try and relate anything new to what we have currently at home, or what we can make the best use of, or technology that starts there. If I want to understand IoT or OT, I have a router at home and I have breached it once. Like I had a router, I won't name what vendor, but that I could extract the data from it because I wanted to understand. Similarly, these newer technologies, if you start relating them to your home, you will learn easily, or your college, then you will learn easily. And always keep exploring new things via the new technology. News is very, very important. If I sum up in like one word, news is important. Check out computer, what is that, threat post, especially from security side, recorded future, bleeping computer. There are many resources which are there. I use a software called Feedly. FEEDLY, and I have integrated multiple websites to it, which gives me the feed. So every morning, first thing I do is read that. I read a lot of blogs, read blogs from other people, and I'm sure there might be something that might be missing there, which you feel is missing. So you can write about that, which can be helpful. I think that will be good one to adapt to the newer technologies.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. When we talk about elasticity and scalability, because most of the organization do think about it, and now everyone is start deploying hybrid cloud model, right? So why is it necessary to go for a hybrid model? Can we go with the, yeah, please.
Yeah, sir, absolutely. We can go with hybrid. We can go all cloud as well. Especially you talked about startups or unicorns, right? They are completely on cloud, because when we talk about procuring the servers, it used to take months to do that. Like you make an order, then the server would get ready, and then it will be delivered to you. And if something fails, you'll be like all jittery. Here in cloud, you have everything on cloud. You don't have to buy this, you don't have to bear the server cost. You're only paying for the services that you use. So if a server goes down, there'll be failovers which will be there. So that as soon as the servers go down, there's a server which will come up automatically if you have those configurations. So it is not mandatory to go on hybrid or a cloud, but based on the need, we can do it. Let's say I'm an old organization. So if I have servers which are already in the house, so I can actually merge, or I can connect the hybrid, the on-premise servers with the cloud services, because I need the latest services. I want to talk about microservices. I need to talk about the newer applications which are getting developed. But again, I need to secure the environment which I already have. So you can have hybrid mode, and then you can secure both at the same time by using different services.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Now, a lot of buzz has been created already around cryptos in India. And if we talk about even CBDC is on the way. And so how do you think the integration of cloud computing for blockchain technology matters a lot to every one of us? Because in case of blockchain, already government of India has launched the policy and the strategy for the blockchain adoption. So how do you think like decentralized cloud computing is going to help blockchain technology, and this integration is going to be another game changer in today's economy?
Now, these newer technologies are going to be a boon for sure. But right now, if I talk about cryptocurrencies, they're not legalized in India. It's what I've read, what my perspective is. But in the longer run, it is going to help us. Now I know the food chains, the supply chain management is also being done using the blockchain and crypto, or like blockchain technology, if I specifically say that. Now, and at the same time, people have started to trade in cryptocurrencies. So these are going to be the thing in the future, but it's going to be a very long way to it, because what we have been adaptive to the techniques which are already there. We are good with the digital money. We are transferring money here. But when we talk about crypto, it is going to take time. Like I know a lot of people who are holding a lot of cryptocurrencies. There are people who say that I don't want to adapt to that. There are countries where it's legalized. There are countries like India, we've still not legalized that. So it is a long way to it. But then blockchain is something which I feel is very much relevant, because then you can have the integrity in the whole chain. So probably that's going to be a very, very good way, because I have read about a lot of different use cases around it. So it is something which is going to be very, very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would like to ask last question from one of the career aspirants. She would like to understand, is any technology background required to build a career in cloud security or maybe cyber security space, and how to get started with it?
Okay, so I will actually tell you that you don't need to have any particular background, but a basic understanding of what you want to get into. Like you want to get into cloud security. So you need to have understanding of at least cloud. What is cloud? So you can read more about cloud. Similarly, if you talk about generic security, now let me go ahead and post you something. Here, where I started off with breaking into InfoSec, because these questions are very common, where all of us have. And I moved from network to application to other security. So what should I do? Here, I have covered breaking into offensive security. How can you switch career in cyber security? What is web app hacking? How exactly you can talk about DevSecOps, vulnerability management, threat modeling, red teaming. I'm also going to be covering a person who's doing more work in hardware security in India, and they're running hardware conference like hardware.io. Now, there are basics which I might not have covered, so you can reach out to me if there's something missing. But it is so wide that you need to pick and choose what you want to get into. That's very, very important. Let's say application security. So you do the thorough research on applications and application security.
Thank
So
you,
that's
ma'am.
my 2 cents.
Yes, surely it would guide them to choose their career wisely and motivate them to select the career in the particular domain. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us. So I think, yes, we are done. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Vandana ji, for being mentor always with us and sharing an important message with our stakeholders today. I hope they have got the insights how cloud security architecture works, what can be done, what are the do's and what are the don'ts. So thank you so much once again. And on behalf of the organizing team, I express my sincere gratitude to you for always encouraging and motivating us throughout your community efforts. Yeah, but before conclude, I would like to request Vandana ma'am to just let us know about InfosecGirls initiative so that others could understand how this forum and the community has been a trailblazing initiative across the women.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. InfosecGirl is a community where we are trying to have more diverse people in cybersecurity, train them, share the knowledge, and not just advocating about it, but also at the same time training them. So we keep hosting some training sessions, and there are conferences where we support people to join them so that they can understand how exactly industry work. So it is not just for students, it's not just for professionals, but for everyone who wants to be part of cybersecurity and understand how exactly cybersecurity dynamics work. Be it application, be it network, be it IoT, be it cloud, be it anything in cybersecurity. Because everything needs security to it. So that's what we do with InfosecGirls. And we are also hosting some workshops around, which are hands-on workshops, which are free of cost for people to understand the different dynamics. And we are collaborating with different institutions and certification providers as well to provide free certifications to the diverse candidates. And even if you are a student, be it men and women, you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to support in any way possible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And MIT Art Design and Technology University would also like to support and provide scholarship to the deserving candidates.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, over to you, Suruchi.
Thank you so much, sir. And a bigger thank you to our keynote speaker for the morning. That was absolutely amazing. How data is our responsibility and how sensitive yet exceptional the concept is. The ways of managing the cloud are some of the things amongst so many others that we will be taking back with us today. Thank you so much yet again for joining us. I'll be taking a few moments to propose the vote of thanks. I'll take we're blessed for the constant support and encouragement from our Honorable Professor, Dr. Mangesh Karat, sir, Executive President and Vice Chancellor, MIT ADT University. We are blessed for the constant support and encouragement that we get. A big thank you to our mentors, Dr. Anand Chakradev, sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Mahesh Chopre, sir, Registrar, MIT ADT University, for the constant cooperation and motivation in such events. I extend my sincere appreciation to all the deans, directors, HOIs and HODs at MIT ADT University. Your support encourages us to progress and flourish. I'm thankful to our ecosystem partners who supported and guided us throughout the international virtual. Huge thank you to our knowledge partners, University at Buffalo, Blockchain Think Lab, California Science and Technology University, Center for Finance, Technology and Entrepreneurship, Natalie EV Consulting. To our technology partners, Asset Rush, Kaleido, Big ID, Paymonk, Innovise, Steezy, Settlement, Securo, Robotex India, and Radicad. A big thank you to our educational partners who cooperate and motivate us: Microsoft, Salesforce, Atos, SAP, EduPeer, AI Beehive, CloudThat, and Skills Factory. To our community partners, OWASP Foundation, Women in Cybersecurity and Privacy, InfosecGirls, India Blockchain Forum, Global Blockchain Business Council, and Women Blockchain Talks, along with MKAI. Our inspiration is our innovation partners: AIC, MIT ATT Incubator Forum, Cerebro Spark Innovations LLP. To our certification partner, True Scholar, and a big thank you to our digital marketing partner, Brand Neeti, Integrated Strategic Advertising and Media Agency. Finally, I'd like to thank the audience from the bottom of my heart who took out their precious time and joined us today. I request you to kindly share your valuable feedback. The link will be shared with you shortly. Please note that the plethora of sessions that are lined up for today can be seen on www.mitfutureskills.org/WFET. Let us meet once again on the same link at 3:30 p.m. for the session How to Win Digital Consumers by Dr. Martha Buchenfeld, Metaverse Digital Transformation Leader. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again. Have a great day ahead.